All right, everyone. Welcome to the Victory Post podcast. And today we have Dexter with us. He is a IPE Pro with the NANBF. And today we just want to learn more about Dexter and his journey to becoming an IPE Pro. So Dexter, I want to thank you very much for coming to my podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's a
Yeah,
pleasure.
yep. You're welcome. You're welcome. So before we begin, um, as you may know, I'm a promoter, so I'm promoting my own show here in Tucson, Arizona, with the NAMBF, and
Mm.
the show is this one over here. It's called the Tucson Multiverse Naturals Classic, and it's gonna be taking effect November 11th. So it's an amateur show. So anyone interested in this show, please go to mbofitness.com to register, or just DM me on my Instagram, and I'll get back to you. Okay. So let's get back to it, Dexter.
hmm
So we really want to learn more about you. So can you give us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm married, 4 kids, all girls, and that's fun. I got one little mama now trying to bother me, of course, as soon as we start. Um, but I've been an athlete my whole life. Basketball and football was kind of my thing throughout middle school and high school, played in elementary as well. So that's kind of where like the love for fitness kind of began. My first time stepping in the gym was actually in sixth grade. And it was a funny encounter because I had like an early growth spurt, but been kind of like the same size since. So I was kind of bigger than like older kids. So when I came in, I could lift more. I was already bigger than most of those guys. Um, a lot of them wanted to talk smack. So that's where that like competitive nature kind of came. And then I have two brothers, a younger one and an older brother. And we all played very high in sports. I didn't get to play in college due to an injury, but I did have Division Ones in basketball that I was going to play for. My little brother, he did play Division One basketball, and then my older brother played the highest level of NAIA Division One basketball, where he also got a title. So
Nice.
that was cool. Yeah, so high school was cool too. I got to win a state title with my older brother, so that was pretty fun. My sophomore year, his senior year, so that was fun to go out with a bang
Yeah.
for him. Um, but yeah, just I would say even from sixth grade when I started, I actually got to start with a Olympic coach. So that was like my introduction to weights. It actually wasn't like the football coach at a high school. It was a trainer who trains Olympians that rode me on everything. So like my foundation started like from the best, like especially like form wise. So anyone who like has lifted with me, they know that I'm like very strict on my form. I want to be critiqued on my form. I always want to have like the best form. So it's just something I take personal within the gym.
Nice. Nice. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for the introduction. So yeah, let's continue. So, what really did motivate you to becoming a natural bodybuilder?
Yeah. So that's interesting. I feel like I got to like the peak of fitness and I was like, man, that my competitiveness, I was like, I want to go to another level. So I was a trainer at the time. I had my own basketball program, which I still have today, but it's not as focused having kids. But I wanted to choose. I wanted to like go to another level. So when that process came, I was like, it's either bodybuilding or it's CrossFit. So I actually checked out CrossFit first, and I was like, nah, I'm cool on CrossFit. And then that's when I got into bodybuilding. Hey, you got to stop with mama. So I chose bodybuilding and kind of began on my own. So I started studying bodybuilding. It was really like the diet and the workouts that had to change. And then I would say it was what last year at that show in October, well, probably 2 years ago now. I signed up like, I want to say it was like 3.5, 4 weeks away from that show. That's when I made my decision. I was like, yo, I'm ready. Like, I need to go do a show. And so I got a coach, and then it was crazy. My first time ever stepping on a scale, and I was at like 4% body fat. And the coach was like, I mean, yeah, you're already ready for stage, like we're about to hit a peak week, you're gonna be down to like 3%, 2%.
Yep.
And so yeah, that's just kind of how it started. It was very spontaneous. It really wasn't on my mind. It was random. And then that's when I jumped into a show, and I've been having a blast since.
Nice, nice, nice. Thanks for sharing that. So why or how did you hear about the NANBF?
Yeah, so a few people had a lot of questions about competing. So the first league that I had heard of course, was NPC and IFBB.
Hmm.
And then I was immediately told, the differences between natural bodybuilding and like an NPC IFBB, so enhanced athletes versus natural. So that was kind of what most people had told me at that time, that if you want to go like the enhanced route, you go NPC, and then you try to work your way like in IFBB, or if you want to keep that natty status. The first league I was told about was in NANBF, in IPE.
Okay.
So that show was coming up. I went to Genesis at the time, that gym. They had posters up, so that was kind of easy, like for the first
Yep.
show that people told me about.
Hmm.
So that's actually how I found out of NANBF. So the flyers at a gym, that's
Yeah.
actually how I found NANBF. So yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's talk more about your shows, the shows you've done in the past. I
Mhm.
think I have some slides that I want to share with the audience.
Yeah.
So this slides over here, okay. So this, I believe, this is your first show, right? This is when you won your pro status, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about that. How what did you feel when you won your pro status?
Yeah, so it was just a really great feeling. I didn't really in that show. I didn't go through the whole phase and stage. I didn't go through like that stage of like a crazy peak or any of that really, just because I was like a little too close.
Yeah.
So I didn't get like that crazy peak where I felt like I was dying or anything. And then just that, like, from the sports background, one of the greatest compliments that I got from college coaches was that I was never rattled, like never nervous.
Hmm.
So still to this day, like I can't say that I've ever felt nervous on stage. I also went to school for acting and broadcasting. So
Okay.
I'm just a very outgoing person. So like the stage is really nothing for me, like in that sense, like of nervousness. Like I'm never nervous or like ever feel like I'm going to freak out or anything.
Yeah.
But that's kind of how I felt. I didn't know how to come in other than being confident. So I came in very confident. Did my best in the posing that I had. I only had like 2 weeks of posing for that show. And yeah, I felt good, and I just wanted to be confident in that show, and then great things happened. So got that pro card, and we've been going since.
Nice. Nice. Um. So yeah. Let's talk more about your other shows that you did. It seems like
Yeah.
we have some slides over here that we need to talk about. So this show, was it what show was that?
That was the one where I'm from, so here in Shawnee, Kansas.
Oh, okay.
I think that's the Kingdom.
Oh,
Yeah, that was probably, I would say, my like toughest show on my body.
oh, okay.
I had a back to back to back, and that was the third in the back to back to back, and my body just didn't respond very well to that. It was kind
Okay.
of like fighting me. Um, so cool that it was at home. I still had fun. It was cool because I'm from here, so a lot of family, a lot of friends were able to go to that show. So we had a blast, like with people in the crowd. So that was really fun. And then anytime stepping on stage with Eric Murphy, that's always fun. So
Yeah.
Chris Brown opposing. So yeah, that's always fun.
Yeah, this guy is very good. I've seen his work,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing for
Mhm.
sure. So there's Minnesota. So there's Mr. and Mrs. Minnesota, right? Um,
Yeah.
what show was that? Was that your second pro show or your third pro show?
So Minnesota, that was the first pro
Oh,
show.
that was your first pro show.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, so that was my very first. I got second. Logan Montgomery, he got me in that show.
Okay.
So yeah, that was the very first. So we started in Minnesota, and very fun. Very fun show for my very first one in the pros. So that was fun. All the hype was real. And again, I didn't feel nervous. It was just fun stepping in the pros. So
Yeah.
I had a blast in that one too.
Awesome. Awesome. What about this one? Can you talk more about this one too?
Yeah, so that was my second show
Okay.
in St. Louis. Yeah, the St. Louis Classic. That was my first pro win, so that was really fun and cool. And not far from me at all. That's only a 3-hour drive from where I'm at.
Okay.
So yeah, first pro win. So that one's definitely in the books. Got that cool looking belt. So that's another one I want to go back to this year too,
Nice.
if
Nice.
I can. So, but yeah, that was the very first win. So definitely big in the books for bodybuilding.
Yep. 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 What about the IPE? IPE was talk more about that. Let the audiences know what that is and how you place and what preparations you took to compete in that show.
Yeah, so IPE Worlds, that's held here in Liberty. That's another one that's like basically home for me. It's only a 35-minute drive. So that's where you come to be world champ. And I believe other leagues. We had some individuals from other leagues that are allowed at IPE Worlds as well.
Yep.
And that's for world champ. So I did bring my best package that I felt that I had brought to Worlds. A lot of people actually said it was like the best package of the year that people felt. So that was like a cool compliment.
Nice.
And then I also started with a new coach. So that was cool. And that's Tyler Jones on Instagram. He's FireTJones_816. He a big old swole dude. He be cracking me up, especially lifting with him. Like my freaking max, and I'm not some small dude, but he makes me look small. Like my maxes are like his warm up. But yeah, working with Ty, he definitely got me ready and prepared for that show. And then I got second, so just feeding that hunger. I hate losing. I've been like that since I was a kid. I can't stand losing. So that's always going to bring me back. So that's another one that's definitely on the list for this year. Another one that's on my heart too. I want to be world champ, not just on stage, not just in bodybuilding, but like I look at it as also like a person.
Yeah. Yep.
I want to represent like being world champ as a person, as an individual for IPE and NANBF. That
Okay.
if I were to ever take the world champ status, that people can look at me and be like, yeah, that's a world class champion, not just in a gym or on stage, off the stage, outside of a gym. He's a world class dude. I take that from LeBron James. I love LeBron with the things that he does off the court. People have many things to say on the court, but that's something that I just take pride in. I always tell people that we are more than bodybuilders. I always try to encourage people of that. Bodybuilders have a lot of body dysformias. I've met a lot of people. They're very confident, like in the gym, but as soon as they step out the gym, you just see that confidence just dwindle. So that's why I always try to remind each other, that you're more than a bodybuilder. You're more than just an athlete. You're meant in this world for bigger things. This is a aspect of who you are, but you're still more than that.
Yep.
You just always want to be uplifting to people. So
nice. That's good though. That's good, right? As you said, it's good. It's good to be versatile, not only in the bodybuilding world, but across your normal life too. Because you want to impact others too. So yeah, keep doing that. Keep doing that. So you did. So yeah, so you did talk a little bit about your shows, NANBF shows. Why do you continue to do NANBF shows? Why not? I know there are so many federations out there, and I know you've also done some other federations. But why do you keep on coming to NANBF IPE shows? Why?
I'm just a loyal dude. It's where I started, and I have loyalty to where I started. So that's where I would say a lot of it comes from.
Okay.
With the understanding that I do understand that there's other leagues, and I kind of made a name for myself, so I got invitations to other leagues.
Yep.
But I'll always have NANBF IPE shows within my schedule, just because that's where I started. That's where I got my chance. That's where I have people that believed in me in the very beginning.
Yep.
So that's just hard loyalty towards IPE and where I started. Um, so that's why I continue to choose those shows. And then it's kind of hard not to choose shows. A lot of them are home. So I didn't really have to travel too far for IPE shows. So that's kind of hard to say no as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Nice, nice. And of course, loyalty is one of, my core values too,
Hmm.
can you share other core values that keeps you going in life also?
Yeah. So not ashamed. God first. Number one is always God for me.
Yep.
Not ashamed of that. Love everybody regardless of whatever they believe in, though. I don't
Yeah.
really care what somebody believes in. I'm going to love you regardless because that's what I'm called to do. Even in disagreements, I'm still love people even in a disagreement. Um, and then always my family. Like I said, I have a beautiful wife. We've been married for 4 years, going to be 5 years. This year, we have four beautiful daughters. So that's kind of like my why. I think it's kind of easy when you have a family. Um, Especially, I remember all the people that told me that when I got married that and had children that I was going to lose my fire, I was going to lose my passion, I was going to get fat, all this stuff, and I just laugh at it because like that's my why. It's very easy to grind and go hard, especially for daughters as a dad. Um, and it's cool that they've taken on a lot of aspects of my grind, especially my younger two. They are like monsters within being like wanting to be the best. So I have two older two as well. So I have an 11-year-old, I have a 10-year-old, I have a 5-year-old, and I have a 3-year-old. So just being that example for them. Um, and then another value is just being a kind person. I just think that that goes a long way. What I have found in bodybuilding that you're gonna have some haters.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna have some people that talk about you, people that talk behind your back, yada yada. I'm not really like a big fan of like being a part of a clique. I'm not a big fan of favoritism. I'm not a big fan of anything like that. So it's really just being kind to people. I met a lot of cool people. And then that's just when I kind of been through, honestly, like my whole life, I've always had haters. And it's something that's just kind of made me laugh in life. I've never been rude or like mean to people. I've been perfect my whole life, not going to say that, but like talking behind people's back and all that stuff, like I don't really like care for those things. I mean, we're stepping on stage because we lift weights. I mean, it's not that deep. And I've loved that in bodybuilding. I haven't had a lot in that. I think the brotherhood and sisterhood and that family culture in bodybuilding has been like really fun.
Yep.
Um, but those are just kind of like my values is God is always number one for me. My family is always up there. And just the same thing I teach my kids is that we're kind to people, we're loving, and that we always give our best.
Yep.
So those are kind of my values in life. Yeah.
All right. All right. Good values. Good values for sure. Um, so now you were talking about having 4 kids, a wife, which to many people is a lot. But
Hmm.
again, you are these people tell you that, hey, whenever you have your own family, you start having children and stuff, your goals deviates, right? Now you
Yeah.
get to be fat, you get to be all this stuff, all this, labels and all this crap. But then you did beat it, right? Knowing your why you are into this, right? So that's that's a very good advice over there. You have to know your why. And so
Yep.
yeah, thanks for sharing that. So you do have 4 kids, you do have a wife. How is your family life in season? So whenever you try to do a bodybuilding show, how is your family life? How do you get to, you know, how do I put this? How do you get to go through the prep, knowing that you have 4 kids, you have a wife, and all that stuff?
Yeah, it can be tough sometimes, to be honest. More so in I would say like in our schedule.
Yeah.
So the structure of our schedule, especially with kids that are getting active, it's more of the fact of that can be tough. My wife has a love-hate relationship with bodybuilding. There's times that she loves it. There's times that she dislikes it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Her dislikes are like a birthday party, because I can't like participate in the cake and the cupcakes and the pizza, and those things. And sometimes, not all the time, she's very understanding, but there's times that she would like me to partake, and she'll get a little upset from time to time. Um, we really haven't had issues like within like the gym or anything like that. I always tell couples that when communication is on point, it works. And so that's something that my wife and I have came to is communication is just kind of on point with that. So I'm not sponsored, by any of these like trifectas or anything. And my wife, she cooks a lot for me, and I don't even ask. I've never asked her to, and she just does that out of the kindness of her heart. So, I don't ever really try to argue with her. And then we kind of make like mini vacations out of most of the trips. That's kind of what we do. Um, we love to travel. My wife is a big traveler. So what we try to do is do something. We always make sure to do something for the kids since they have to watch me in the show. So we'll make sure to find something fun in that city.
Yep.
Let them choose what we eat. And then we'll find. So like Minnesota was fun because we went to Mall of America, and then we did the whole Nickelodeon thing. Chicago was fun. We went to the Navy Pier. So we do stuff like that.
Okay.
And other leagues are kind of hard because like NGA is a league I want to do, but their shows are in Florida, and that's when like I'm like, if we go to Florida, I got to stay in Florida. I can't just go in Florida, hit the stage, and then leave.
Yeah,
I'm a beach guy, so
yep.
That's kind of how we make that work.
Okay.
Just communication, yeah.
All right. Good stuff for sure. Um, so let's move our focus to meal prepping and workouts whenever you are in season. Can you give us like a brief description of what you eat during prep and how you work out also?
Yeah. So Tyler Jones, that's my coach. I kind of he handles all of that. So he writes my splits.
Okay.
He writes my meal plans. And I'm always a fan of having a coach because it's kind of hard, like in a family dynamic of work and doing all the activities with your family, and then you're constantly trying to do all these things within your macros and all that type of stuff and your meals, yada yada. So my coach is constantly changing that because he's like always studying my body. He studies things on how my body reacts to this and that. So that's just kind of how it looks for us. I don't know how others are structured, but mine can change from time to time, especially because of like my metabolism. I still have like a metabolism of like a 10-year-old, so it's crazy. My body like just eats everything up as soon as I eat it. So that's kind of how it goes, the typical 5 to 6 meals a day. And then my coach will play around with that. And then he's very, detailed on the way that he wants me to take protein. We're very detailed on whatever like we want to work on. If we want this body group, we're very detailed within those factors. So like, he calls it like a 3D process and the 4D process. And like the 3D is when we're like coming off that bulk, while maintaining size at the same time. So we go through this like 3D phase where the body like looks 3D.
Yep.
And then it's now we're gonna take it to another level now when we call that 4D. It's just something that him and I have, and that's pretty fun. So yeah, he writes all my splits, he writes all my meal plans. To be honest, I don't worry about any of that. He has my full trust. I do what I'm told. I always tell athletes that within bodybuilding, none of us have the right to do all the complaining.
Yep.
None of us have the right to really make any excuses about it. We all know what we signed up for, especially those peak weeks. I mean, that's what makes a champion.
Yeah.
So my wife can vouch for me. That's something I've never really complained about. I'm the one who signed up for this. So, that mental piece, that mental edge, I think that's what builds champions. So, but that's kind of what it looks like for me, though.
Okay. All right. Thanks for sharing that. So before I let you go, when is your next show?
Yeah. So I'm not really telling a lot of people this year. This year I'm just showing up.
Oh, okay.
I'm just, but first show, I don't mind sharing the first show. First show, I'm actually going to do an NPC show.
Okay.
So that's going to be in June. I want to say June 3rd.
Okay.
I am going to do some NPC this year. My goal within that is I do want to get an IFBB card just to prove out there that natural athletes can at least get a card on that level. I understand that the pro league is a lot different.
Yeah.
There's some pretty big boys in that pro league and girls. So,
oh yeah.
But yeah, that's the goal. Probably going to do I would say another 8 to 10 shows this year as well, with a fun ending as well. So I'll be World is definitely on my list. USBF Championship is on the list, and then GDO in Texas is on the list, and then of course a lot of IPE shows again. But yeah, that's kind of what it's looking like. So right now I'm in that like loading stage. We started cutting, I want to say like 2.5 weeks ago. Cutting's going very well. So I want to say June 3rd, that's going to be the first show.
All right. Good. Thanks for sharing that. Before I leave you alone though, can you give our general population about 3 tips or advice to stay focused in bodybuilding or overall life?
Yeah, so like tips on bodybuilding or tips from bodybuilding like in life or both?
Both.
In this era, number one is to stay away from social media and don't believe everything that you see. We have a lot of influencers in today's time, and influencers are the ones that get all the hype. So don't fall for the hype. Number 2 is to get a very positive supporting circle. If you're going to get in bodybuilding, I think it's very important to get around a positive circle, and that's whether that's friends and family for you, your coach, if it's a part of a team, just make sure it's a positive, very supporting team. And then 3rd is just staying true to yourself. I'm not a big person of fame. I'm not a big person of the clout that like comes with bodybuilding. I always tell people I lift weights. Like, you ain't got to treat me like I'm a celebrity. I'm not about that life. Yep. And I just say, stay true to yourself. Doesn't matter how many shows I win. Doesn't matter how swole I am. It doesn't make me better than nobody. So that's why I always say, stay true to yourself. Those are the 3 that I would say. All
right. Thank you for sharing this. And for our viewers watching this, I hope you guys did learn a lot from Dexter, and his show is coming on. So Dexter, good luck on your next show, and thanks for supporting the NANBF IPE Federation. As you know, everyone in that community really appreciate you for supporting natural bodybuilding. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, and thanks for having me too.
Yeah. So everyone, thank you for watching, and Dexter, thank you for coming to my show. We're gonna see you next time. Goodbye.